Hello, and welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham, and I'm your host. And today I have the pleasure of having with me Debbie Stitzer Brame from Edmarc Hospice for Children. Welcome.
Thank you.
Did I get that name right?
You got it perfect, Rory.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Well, we're batting 1,000. All right. Okay, so let's start off by giving us an overview. What is Edmarc?
Rory, Edmarc is the pediatric hospice program here in Hampton Roads, and we've been serving children and families now for 39 years. Kids who have life-threatening illnesses and their entire family. And, you know, our care is very different. When people think of hospice care, they think of a place where someone might go. Often you think of the elderly. We never want to think that our kids have the risk of dying, but many of our children do in Hampton Roads because of their diagnosis.
And you said this is 39 years old?
Correct,
wow.
Correct.
Been around a long time.
Been around a long time. And sadly, our census continues to grow. Does that mean there are more sick kids? No. The difference is now people know that we're here and available to help their families. And so our referrals are increasing, the admissions to Edmarc are increasing, and our outcomes are improving for kids.
Well, let me just go down with the questions that I do have. The mission of Edmarc is what?
It is simply this, to help reduce the disabling effects of pediatric illness and loss on families. And we're there every step of the way. We hope from the point of diagnosis, throughout the course and care of their treatment, and aggressively seeking treatment for these children, because kids are resilient. They could bounce back from things that you and I as adults could never dream of. And so we owe it to them to look for ways to treat them, keep them in the environment that is healthy and safe and loving in their home, and hope and pray there's a healthy discharge. And that's the difference with children's care, is that some and many of the children get better, go in remission, and don't need us anymore. However, though, if a child loses their battle, though, we're going to be there. We're going to be there during those deep, dark moments, and then long, long after the loss has taken place, so families can help rebuild their lives again.
So it's less clinical, obviously, I guess, because you're at home than being in a cold hospital, you know.
Well, hospitals are great places to be, but, you know, that old saying is, there's no place like home, because there really isn't. And children need to be in that loving environment. They need to be surrounded by the people who love and care about them the most, and that's their family.
So you deal in the Hampton Roads area, children in the Hampton Roads area. That's Peninsula and South Side?
Yes, it's a pretty large footprint.
It is. Yeah.
For a staff of 16, and we're a 24-hour operation.
Right, wow.
You know,
it keeps you busy, huh?
It does. Our staff, we're very blessed. We've got some incredible staff members who are devoted and who are probably some of the highly skilled clinicians in the region.
And you and I were talking beforehand. I was surprised at how many children you have right now, for instance.
Right now on the clinical program, on any one given day, there's roughly about 70 children and families.
70, wow.
Right. Wow. And that's not to factor in those families that are receiving bereavement care. There's 164, and then 32 families in our outreach, all with 16 staff members. So we rely pretty heavily on our volunteer force to help us do the things we'd like to do that we just don't have the time.
What type of illness? The first one jumps at you is a type of cancer, maybe. But what type of illnesses do you see the most?
Again, that will change based on the census and the composition. We do see a high incidence of children afflicted with cancer, but we also see a lot with genetic disorders, neuromuscular disease processes. In fact, we even see some kids that maybe with their primary diagnosis we wouldn't normally take, but because they have a secondary diagnosis on top of that, they're at risk of dying because of how fragile their medical condition can be.
Their immune system was wiped out and
absolutely true.
So what do you offer the families and the children? That's a really good question.
That is a loaded question, and I love when people ask that, because it's simply whatever they need when they need it. I've been a nurse for a long time. I've been in healthcare for a really long time, and until Edmarc, I haven't really been able to practice it the way I was taught. And that's holistic care, caring for the patient, our little one, caring for the entire family. And regardless of what they need, whether it's clinical care or support care, or we had a little one who wanted a puppy. And we had someone, a volunteer of ours, say, I have a little Maltese puppy and we're looking for a home for them. Or is it simply, you know, putting together a birthday party for a child who may not see another birthday next year? So it really is meeting the needs of that child and that family wherever they are on any one given day.
And by being able to have this care at home, that's much more convenient and comfortable for everybody, I would assume.
Definitely for the family, because the child then is...
And psychologically for the child.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, we make sure that we don't just take care of the clinical side, that scientific end. It's mind, body, spirit. Taking care of that little whole person, however little they are. They might be 3 pounds or they might be 220 and 16 years old. But we're going to be there to take care of that little one and also their whole family.
Okay, and I want to make sure we talk about this, and I don't want to forget it. You are not federally funded.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
So and you're not state funded.
Correct.
So you rely on the public.
We do,
help.
and we have been for 39 years. And Edmarc was based on a charity model. When I think about our founding families and what they endured, the crisis, the pain, you know, they were thinking well beyond their years and decided that this is not based on a fee-for-service. It can't be, because kids don't fit in the Medicare hospice model box. Families aren't going to give up. Kids aren't going to give up. So it has been entirely, well, about 90 to 92% of our budget every year is because of the generosity of the Hampton Roads community.
Right, because it's not covered by insurance generally
Only,
either.
correct, only about 10%.
So that's amazing. So, okay, and so people need to know that. I know people could help, so why don't we talk about how could they help?
Well, everyone has the capacity to give. So whether it is your gift of your wealth, certainly contributions, that's how we stay afloat. That's how we keep our doors open. You know, the staff come to Edmarc, they're paid staff. They're not highly paid, highly compensated, but they love what they do. But I always tell everyone, if you want to do something, if you want to make a difference, volunteer your time. The time that you give to Edmarc or any other not-for-profit organization in Hampton Roads would welcome that. So whether you're an IT professional or you're a gardener or you're an admin person or video production, there's a place for folks at Edmarc.
Is that what you'd call a pressing need?
Absolutely pressing need.
Is that your
Yes.
most pressing need, you think?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
That and the financial resources to help us sustain the operation.
Yeah, you'll take the money too, right?
Correct.
So where is Edmarc located?
We're located in the heart of Old Town, Portsmouth.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at our geographic footprint, it really is very central to our entire service area.
Okay. And I know that people can get involved, and we're going to talk about. They can go to the website and everything. We'll talk about that. And then, but my last question is there anything that I did not mention that you wanted to cover? I know there's so much we could talk about, but
there is. I think when it comes down to it, is that there is a misperception, I think, of pediatric hospice care. It's not the adult hospice model box. Is that we have worked so hard with the community and our clinicians in the region, doctors, nurses in all of our healthcare institutions, so that they understand that Edmarc is not about the end. It is about living every single moment of every single day, taking today as a present, because it really is. None of us are really promised much in our lives. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that pediatric hospice and palliative care is about living and doing all we can to give these children the opportunities and their families to live life to the fullest.
okay. Well, you're certainly doing great work. So if you know someone who has a need, or you have a need for children hospice care, you can reach Debbie at the contact information that's at the end of this video or at the bottom of this page. They do great work, and if you can volunteer anything to them, whether it's a service or your time or financially, I'm sure they would love to take you up on it. So give Debbie a call, and that number is at the end of the video and also at the bottom of this page. I thank you very much for coming in today, and I wish you a great deal of continued success. This is your 40th year, right?
We are coming up on our 40th year.
40th
Yes.
year, okay.
Yes.
Oh, well, you've been doing great work, so hopefully
Thank you.
another 40.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.